How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with The Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Blair Witch from 2016. This is directed by Adam Wingard, who you guys may know for VHS, You're Next, and then later on he would do the Godzilla and Kong movies. This movie stars James Allen McCune, Callie Hernandez, and Corbin Reid, and this is the third and so far final film in the Blair Witch trilogy, and it's not really super well remembered. It's not terrible, honestly. It's a B-grade found footage movie that has a bit of a fun popcorn ending, and it has its moments, but I totally see why it has its reputation. 2016, there were definitely a lot of people critical of the found footage boom by this point, but you're making a movie that's a sequel to The Blair Witch Project, one of the most important found footage films. Yeah, people were expecting a whole lot from this, and when it came out just the same as every other found footage movie we were getting for the past couple years, yeah, this is not remembered too fondly. And I think you can kind of sum it up pretty easy. It's a movie that is generic. It never really feels realistic like the first one did, and there are times in this movie where you definitely do see too much, and also it feels very much like a studio-mandated sequel. This very much feels like the movie that the studio wanted when they got Book of Shadows instead. And Book of Shadows would develop a cult following, and this, I don't even think people are mad at it anymore. They just kind of forgot about it and everybody moved on. And again, it's not the worst found footage movie ever. It's totally fine. It just isn't the Blair Witch. It's nowhere near the level it should be. If you guys find it for cheap and you're curious about the Blair Witch, you can pop it in. It's not terrible. But again, temper those expectations. If you're okay with watching a B found footage movie, go ahead. But it's not going to be anything near the original, and not even going to be anything near Book of Shadows, the forgotten third movie, but whatever. It's not great, but it's fine, I guess. Before we get ahead of ourselves, what's the movie about? Well, to start off this movie, you get Heather's younger baby brother. Yeah, for the timeline purposes, it turns out he was only 4 years old when the first movie happened. Well, Heather's baby brother was on YouTube and found more footage from the Burkittsville woods, and it shows a woman in the mysterious house from the end of the movie, the house that no one was able to ever find in real life, the house where in the sequel where they show where the footage was found was just like the bottom of a house. So he always thought maybe his sister is out there, maybe this house is out there somewhere, whatever happened to my missing family member? And for just a few frames in this footage on YouTube, you can see a woman in a mirror. Is that her? Well, it just so happens that this guy has a friend who's into making documentaries, and he grabs two of their other friends, goes to the people who found this footage, and says, hey, take us into the woods, show us where you got this footage, maybe we'll find my sister. But of course, when night goes down in the Blair Witch Forest, yeah, things aren't gonna go great. But this movie, what's wrong with it? Well, one thing I will point out right away is we do get to know Heather's baby brother, and the fact that she has a brother who just so happens to know a documentary person, a little on the convenient side, but also we don't get as much setup and dread. We're going to the Blair Witch Forest really quick, and to be fair, there's no real point to interviewing the townspeople again, but I mean, we need something, because we're just kind of rushing out there. And then the big thing though, these characters. In the first movie we had 3 characters, but they were all real characters, and you all understood them and felt the tension. In this, our 4 main leads are all pretty much blocks of wood. I'm sorry to Heather's baby brother, but the fact that he's her baby brother is really all there is to him. And then there's like one girl girl that hurts her foot, and that's her personality, is girl who hurt her foot. They never feel real. They feel like wooden actors, and that's a shame. Now, the other two characters, the ones who are locals and found the footage, they're much better. They were from the town, and they remember the debacle, and there's something where they feel a little bit haunted. Either way, they feel more naturalistic, and with their backstory, we actually get points in the movie where characters from the main part of the group will ridicule them. You're just country people with stupid, superstitious beliefs about a made-up witch, and actually at times they turn to violence against them. It really doesn't make our main group look too good, but needless to say, these are the only two characters that feel remotely real in the movie, and the fact that they're locals does tie them into lore better. The other big thing is the cameras. And I get you're doing a Blair Witch sequel that's like 25-ish years later. Technology has advanced, and I guess that's kind of interesting, but there's way too many cameras. And in turn, it feels like a movie. Everybody has an earpiece camera. Never mind how the main girl's hair covers up her ears, yet still the camera can see through it. Everybody has a camera. There's a few other cameras, and also there's like drones and cameras they can leave up, security cameras to watch their camp. And the thing is, when there's so many cameras, it doesn't feel like you're stuck in a point of view. It feels like you're watching a movie because someone is always going to be there to get just the right angle. It's always going to be perfectly steady, perfectly in frame, and these are nice, crystal clear digital cameras. It doesn't feel like found footage. It feels like a movie. My recommendation would be to restructure it where the main girl had her camera and the guy from the other group has his, and then just use a few extra new cameras for special events. Like, I totally get putting a camera outside of your tent. You should have done those Paranormal Activity fast forward through the night shots. That would have been cool. And they have a drone that would have felt much more special if we didn't already get sensory overload with just how many cameras there were. Yeah. Keep us in a point of view. Make it feel real. And that's the next big point. And that's the next thing that really hits this, is this doesn't feel real. It really does feel like a movie. And in the first movie, you had actors that were really good at improv, and the directors kind of played the part of the witch. They really left them out in the woods. They really let the actors hold the cameras, and they let the actors react how they would want to certain things. It felt so real, and it felt like a slow and steady pressure cooker, and this doesn't feel like it. There's a shockingly long credit scroll at the end of this with how many people worked on this movie, and I couldn't help but think there should not be that many people working on a Blair Witch movie. This is way too overproduced and doesn't feel real. And as I hinted at the beginning, you do see a lot in this movie. Quite famously, in the first movie, you really don't see much of anything, you know, the stickmen and a pile of rocks or something. And here there's some stuff, including some CGI stuff, and like at one point, a whole tent gets ripped up in the air and flies through the sky. Yeah, I'm not gonna believe this is real found footage. And when you get to like the end bits, there's part of me that goes, oh, this is popcorn fun. This is, you know, running around seeing some ghost. And there is also part of me that, you know, okay, maybe it's not the part of me that knows what's good for it, but there's part of me that goes, it's been over 25 years since the first Blair Witch movie. I am obsessed with the lore. Maybe I do want to, you know, see some more stuff happen. But at the same time, this is very much like Freddy's Dream Demons. We probably shouldn't have seen them. And yeah, no, I don't know. It goes crazy, but also probably goes too far. But also, it going crazy is probably the most memorable part about it. Overall, like I said, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not great either, and if you guys want to check it out, it's one of those that I say it's not great, but if you're fans of the series, it's worth probably watching at least once. Just tempered expectations and try to get it for cheap, right? Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist at the bottom. This should be my Blair Witch Franchise playlist where you can see my reviews for the other two movies. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist here. Have a good day now.